lights and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's them handwritten letters from home. It's them sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's a line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Hey. From the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana, to the golden coast of California, Uncle Sam's the only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop, and his 18th birthday was the day he was born. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's a line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, stand on the front line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, pay the ultimate price. He was the man of the house when he was born. His family is proud but torn. But if you knew him, you would understand. He was raised on how to be brave, just to see the flag still wave. And then he came home with only one hand. He's Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's a line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, stay on this red line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, he'll pay the ultimate price. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's a line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. March in line, march in line. Hey, hey.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good evening, Erie County. Here we are. Man, July, tick tock, tick tock. July is flying right on by, but that's okay. We've got 101 million things we could talk about, but we only have a certain amount of time. But I know we didn't advertise a lot. It was kind of like we weren't really sure. But guess who we have on at 8:30? Lou Barletta. You know, he's a complicated guy. He's got a huge work schedule, and it is tough to get him to kind of get him locked down to come in there. But you know, our good friend Ben Paganoff, he kind of like worked the deal out, and you know, we talked to assistants, and we talked to this person, and we were going to bring him on video, but then Lou said, "I'll just call in. It's just less complicated." That's perfectly fine. So he'll come in at 8:30 via phone call. So that will be interesting. He's a guy with a huge pedigree, done a lot of things. He's a guy that you have seen on the big news, on the big TVs a lot, because he is a mover and a shaker in the Republican Party, and that's good. You know, I always tell people he has forgotten more on politics than I know. So to have him come on my little show here in Erie, Pennsylvania, it's truly a blessing. So we'll come back to him at 8:30. So, wow, where and what, when, why, and how do we start? Lord, I cry this week. I was going to jump on Sunday because there was just so much stuff going on with the hearings and the attempted assassination of you know uh, President Trump and the scam, the coup that the Democrat Party just pulled over on the American people. I tell you what, other than the fact that Democrats are good little minions that just stay right in line and they do what they're told, I would be smoking pissed off if I was a Democrat right now and I voted for Joe Biden. Because I'm telling you, what did the Democrat big shots sitting back in closed doors, smoking cigars, decided to do? They decided, the handful of them, we can go back and forth every day on who is those people? Who are they? Remember, they would say they. Well, who's they? Well, we know who the obvious ones are, but the ones that we don't know are the ones that are really actually pulling the strings. But to pull off a bloodless coup, basically tell Sniffy Joe, you're done. You're losing. You're going to hurt us in the party down balloting. We want you to stop. Okay. He probably just nodded his head and went and got some ice cream, and Joe Biden probably had a hissy fit. But what a pile of crap the Democrats just did. And you know what? I want the Democrats that I know that have the guts to come up to me and tell me that's not a coup. Because you know what? Your votes did not count. The fact that they had a primary, people ran, they went out and voted, they went out and they did their mail-in ballots, they did their civic duty. What did that mean? Nothing. The guys behind the closed doors, the guys smoking the cigars, the guys with the big checkbooks decided that Biden was too much of a liability. He was hurting the party. You need to go. Joe, you need to go. And he left. And where did he go? What, 6 days? 6 days. They probably had him he can only work till 8 o'clock. So, he probably had to catch up on his sleep. So I gotta tell you, these Democrats, they look at the camera, they point their little fingers at us, and you guys are a threat to democracy. Whatever, whatever. What the Democrat Party is an example 101 of what a threat to democracy is. The fact that these people went out and voted, relevant. They stood outside, got signatures, relevant. They stood outside and worked the polls, relevant. Spent a fortune of your tax dollars to have an election. They ain't cheap. Trust me. I was on the board of elections. Elections ain't cheap. They are not cheap. The printing and it costs thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to print up the mail-in ballots, to print out the actual ballots if you go and vote in person. Thousands of dollars for what? For a group of people to predetermine that Joe Biden, which we've been saying for the last 3 years, is incompetent. It's going to hurt their party. We're like, it's going to hurt your party. We don't say it real loud. I'll do a joke. We got to talk quiet so people think we're serious. No. You people, what they did, the Democrat Party, is a threat to democracy. It slapped them in the face. Backhanded slap. Psh. Attack on democracy. You talk about a bloodless coup? That was a bloodless coup. They literally took over the Democrat Party, told him to stand down, sit down, shut up, here's some ice cream, and you're irrelevant. It doesn't matter that I don't know, I forget how many people showed up to vote for him, 40 million, whatever. Didn't matter. If I was a Republican and they did that, I would be smoking mad. I'd be standing in the street screaming foul. But the Democrats, they cheat. And we tell them they cheat. They tell us they cheat, and we tell them they cheat. And, oh, no, 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 you Republicans, that's what you guys do. No, you guys did one of the biggest, right in our faces, cheat by just telling Joe you're not the guy anymore. Well, of course, now it has to go to the convention, and the convention needs to, vote her in. The big donors, the big people, the big cigars, the people that actually, and nobody cares. The first one was 2020. The second was 4 days ago. Scott, you're absolutely right. Here, you're absolutely right. Boom, we'll put that right in the main room because that's a great, great quote. You're absolutely right. When's enough's enough, people? When is enough where we are going to stop taking their crap? Stop taking these Democrats' crap and let them cheat. And let's be honest, they were doing the polls. Kamala Harris polls came up, 5 points better than Sniffy Joe, but was still 10, 15 points below President Trump. And that was before he got a badass vice president, JD. Man, I'm telling you. Wow. I know we talked about it. If you guys haven't read his book, read his book. If you can't find it on Amazon, it's tough to find right now. Watch this movie on Netflix. Put down the remote, search this thing up. Yeah, exactly. And then let's look at what the Democrat Party has been doing to you and me for the last 3. Well, let's go with 2. Would be nice. Let's say 2 years. The last 2 years, they've been looking you in the face and bold-faced lying to you and me. He's perfectly fine. He's sharp. He's focused, laser focused. I don't need a test. I get tested every day. I'm in charge of the world. They have been bold-faced lying to us. We've been telling you they've been bold-faced lying to us. And now here it is. Because they put that debacle of a debate out there, and they just couldn't recover from it. They knew they couldn't cover from it. They knew that, he was going to lose. He's going to lose. So that's the new America way. If you're going to lose, just quit. Just quit. No, that's not the America way. That's not how Republicans do it. And that's not how we're going to do it. President Trump gets shot. Gets up. Fight. 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 But if you're a Democrat and you're getting your ass kicked, I'm just going to go have some ice cream. And you have been fired. And then somebody that didn't even get voted in allegedly has to be voted in right at their convention here, literally around the corner. So, I got to tell you, and I always tell you, I'm not a conspiracy guy. I'm really, really not. But how much more crap has to be shoved down our throats until we wake up and this is a conspiracy? The Democrats have probably had this planned out for the last year because they know that Sniffy Joe was going down the toilet. We knew it. We all knew it. And then, Harris looks you square in the eye. Oh, Joe, we've done it. He's all fine. He's good. He's cognitive. He's sharp. He's tact. All the rest of them, all the rest of the Democrats. Locally, the local Democrat Party should be ashamed of themselves. They were literally on there with a little pep rally holding their sign that says Harris. They don't have a vice president. It's the end of July. They don't have a vice president because, the Democrat Party. And there's Tyler Titus up there, praising Kamala Harris. And, people do the research on her. She literally, when she was a prosecutor, literally had a man's life in the palm, black man, in the palm of her hands. He was on death row. Google this up. I can't make it up. Google it up. He was on death row. They let's see, my camera's not focusing. They wanted to introduce evidence, DNA evidence that he didn't do it. She absolutely, positively would not hear the case. They said, we've got it. We've got DNA says he didn't do it. She, as a prosecutor, told that black man, no, no, until a judge stepped in and said, yes, you will. The DNA evidence exonerated him. He didn't get the death penalty. So this is a black woman. You're live.
Brian,
Dave, thanks for calling in, brother. What's up?
boy, I was multi-streaming you and Biden. It's over with already.
Well,
His
the
speech.
the teleprompter probably ran out of paper or ink or whatever.
What a joke! He was supposed to say why he dropped out. Never said why he dropped out.
Well,
He just was talking about how great he was, and how qualified Kamala is. It was like a campaign speech. He didn't say nothing about why he dropped out.
well, because he probably doesn't know he dropped out.
That could be. He was all tanned up though, real nice. He got but I think it probably used two cans of spray tan
Well,
on his face.
well, they did
and
that.
his hands
Yeah.
too.
Well, he looked like death warmed over on the debate. So they did that one-on-one interview, and he looked like, they're like, wait a minute, does he look like Donald Trump? They're like, Orange Man bad, right? Remember, we've heard
Yeah.
that before. I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting anything. I didn't expect anything. He's not going to come up with any original thoughts. He's just doing, being told what to say, how to say it, to make sure that there's unity. And I was literally just jumping into the from the local Dems, them holding, I saw Pretzel in the back. He's, 6'10", whatever he is, holding the Harris
How
signs.
about the vice president, the vice chair of the Erie Dem Party?
What, Knibis?
Yeah, I noticed something about her, but I'm not going to get into it because some people might get upset.
Yeah, you're a big guy.
She put a few on. Let's put it that way.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I knew there was I knew they were going to do it, and I'm really kind of pissed at the local media, which I'm usually pissed off at them anyway. Do they know that there's another party in Erie called the Republicans? And all I've seen is in the Erie paper, Democrat, Democrat, Democrat. All I've seen on the local news, Democrat, Democrat, Democrat. Okay,
Yep.
fine. The Democrats cheated. They took off a big a coup. And and everyone's like, yay! No, they just screwed you people, and you're too dumb to even get it.
Yep. I see our girl was there though.
Which one?
Our favorite girl, Freda.
Oh, of course, Miss Fred
She was there.
Right.
She had the sign going real nice.
Yeah,
Pretzel was there. Who else did I know?
Well, you can tell Lurch is in the back. He's
Yeah, he was in the back with the sign.
I know he doesn't take a speaking
TNT was there
role.
too. TNT, Tyler Titus.
Yeah, he did the speaking. At least he can put a sentence together, not like Pretzel.
Yeah, but unbelievable. Just unbelievable.
No, I get
But,
it. And then, Tom Lavery, the Kennedy family should apologize to Robert F. Kennedy for endorsing the Bidens.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're they endorsed Sniffy Joe. And now
Who did?
The Kennedy family.
Oh, they did.
Yes, the Kennedy family.
Oh, the family did. The family did.
Yeah.
They didn't. They
Nope.
didn't endorse Robert F. Jr.
Nope. No, because
They don't endorse. Oh, okay.
no, they only endorse Democrats. So I mean, what a pile of crap that was. And then what's this? There's another one we got to put in here. What is this? Kind of funny. Obama, Schumer, Schiff, Pelosi all paid Biden a visit. 4 days later, COVID-19 diagnosis. No face mask were worn. Hours later, Biden withdraws. Amazing, right under our noses. Bloodless coup. Bloodless
Yeah, it was
coup
all
101.
planned.
The people, the players, the keeper of the purse strings, and the keeper of the marionette strings, told Biden, "You're hurting the party. You're done." He's done.
Yep.
So a
This
bloodless
voter, as far as I'm concerned, that's voter suppression slash what's the other term? Voter
Disenfranchisement. What was that?
or
Yeah.
nullification,
I
whatever
don't
you
know.
want. But
You stopped over to see me over at the in Harbor Creek, and you nailed it. They disfranchised the voters, or
disenfranchisement. That's exactly what they did.
Yep.
And they accuse the Republicans of that all the time.
Yep.
All they want is maybe some ID or something. That's before any votes ever were tallied. Is what the Republicans wanted, voter ID. This in this particular case, I know you probably covered it. Is the votes were already cast, and now they said, screw you. We'll do what we want to do.
the power
voter
brokers, the people
nullification.
that said, wait a minute, the Democrats all came together, probably, one of their secret squirrel meetings, and said, listen, all of us Democrats that are up for re-election are in a lot of trouble because of Joe Biden.
Right.
Because his polls were slipping. So that, like I said, I don't know if you heard me or not, but that's must be the new Democrat way. Hey, if you're losing, just quit.
We'll get somebody that we want in there.
Yeah, and then of course Heidi, she puts in the room, I'm sick of all these women say vote for Harris because she's a woman. Since when does your gender? And I want somebody to please explain to me that the Democrat Party are always screaming about the definition of a woman, right?
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. Who's a woman? Yeah.
Who's a woman? Because we've been arguing that for the last couple of years. Who's a woman? But now Kamala Harris is now a woman. They're agreeing that she's a woman and she needs to vote because she's a woman. No,
right.
Listen, even a lot of the women's groups saying we're not endorsing her. She's horrible. Her track record against the black community is horrible. I was watching some of these videos, so like stuff ready for the show. She has treated the black community 10 times worse, and then she runs around, I'm black. No, you are not black. You are not. You are not black. I saw your pictures of your parents. I've seen your kids. You are not black. Her kids are pinker than me and you. Just saying.
Yeah.
And her what's really is sticky because if I'm wrong, someone please correct me. Her husband's Jewish, and boy, did they sure diss the Prime Minister of Israel today. They didn't show up, and when he spoke in front of Congress, they didn't show up.
Well, Schumer, I noticed Schumer. I texted you. I said when Netanyahu was walking in, it's just like when they have the State of the Union. He's walking through the crowd and he's shaking hands with everybody. Netanyahu did not shake his hand.
No, they're.
I mean, not Netanyahu. What's his face? Schumer.
Well, yeah, they hate Jewish people.
Did not shake Netanyahu's hand as he walked in. He was right next to him. I noticed that. I said, "Wow, that's a snub."
You are the president and vice president of the United States. I don't really think so, but hey, whatever. Not my president. Like they said about when Trump. Remember when Trump was elected? Not my president. So he comes to the United States, and they don't meet him on the tarmac. How disrespectful! He is a duly elected Prime Minister of Israel, and they chose not to even show up. And then in Congress on the floor, they weren't there. But by God, the little short guy from that's getting on the payroll here, they fly his flag, and they're all there giddy and stuff. But the guy from Israel shows up. How disrespectful! There was a note. Trump sent him an invitation, hand wrote it, and said, "Hey, stop by Mar-a-Lago. We'll treat you right." So he's going.
Well, I'm going to get off because you got.
He'll be coming up here in a couple of minutes. But Dave,
Barletta, is that who's calling you? Yep. Barletta.
Yeah, Lou Barletta.
Yeah, all right. I'll get off here. Maybe.
All right.
Somebody else wants to get on for the next 7 minutes.
I'll hold the calls. I'll leave the line open for him. But thanks for the call, Dave. We appreciate you.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks, man. But yeah, I mean, Dave brought some good points up, and this is the people should be embarrassed. They should be angry at their Democrats leaders for letting them just disregard the votes. But that's how dumb they have become. They get cooed. Their votes are irrelevant. They are pushed aside, and your voice does not matter. What is the first couple of words of the Constitution? Oh, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. We the people. I know we're a republic. I know there's always this whole argument. We're not about about being a democracy. And I get it. We are a republic. I get it. But there is that whole spin of democracy to who we are. And we appreciate that. That way yeah. Well, Lance, you're absolutely right because we've been arguing for the last couple years about what is a woman. So, you can't assume they are a woman. You have to go with, how they self-identify. So I guess now we understand that she is a woman. I guess that magical argument has been canceled because they were talking about voting for a woman because she understands their needs and rights. Okay, whatever, man. I totally get it. But, just to kind of warm you up here, I'm gonna you can look Lou Barletta up. I'll read you real quick here what Wikipedia says about him. Louis John Barletta, born January 28th, 1956, is an American businessman and a politician who served in the U.S. Representative of Pennsylvania, the 11th Congressional District from 2011 to 2019. A member of the Republican Party, he served as mayor of Hazleton, Pennsylvania from 2000 to 2010. So that is his real quick Wikipedia is there. You can search him up. He's got trust me, that is not everything about this guy. But what I wanted to do is just warm you up who Lou is. He has been on the big stage with the big guy, not that big guy, Trump big guy. So trust me, it's all good. And he's a real patriot. He cares about this country. And he really, this guy, he's one of these guys that boy, he cut his finger, he bleed red, white, and blue because he just loves this country and he's dedicated his whole life to exactly who we are. And that's like with Brad Peganoff, I guess he's got a good rapport with the family. So he's like, hey, man, can we get him on there? I'm like, I don't have that kind of contact or mojo. He goes, let me make some phone calls. So we had him all lined up to come on the show a couple weeks ago, but unfortunately he had a family thing he had to take care of. So it was an issue of we had to reschedule. I left the schedule kind of very fluid. So to accommodate his crazy schedule, and so he'll be on here. We're just waiting. He'll call in here momentarily. So that's why I'm not going to take any more calls. So just hold your calls till after Blue calls in. Brenda has the same birthday as me. Oh, Brenda's sending me a text. He has the same birthday as Brenda. Red Pickeniff. Women and blacks love him. Well, why wouldn't you like this guy? He's a good guy. Got a great smile. He's just one of those guys that has a great smile. Yeah, January 28th, 1956. We'll call out his age now as 68. Looks good for 68. I'm 61, so hopefully I'm good looking as he is when I turn 68. But no, it's not going to be. Hey, Brad.
Hey, good
Thanks.
evening.
Thanks for coming in on a video. Like I said, you were the guy that kind of brokered this deal and put us together with the Barletta family and made this magic happen. It's complicated to get like political rock stars like Lou to come into a little show like we're doing at Erie, PA. But this is how we grow. And we don't do. I don't take a dime for this show. We do everything out of pocket. We owe nobody to no sponsors. We don't have to. Oh, I'm sorry. We got to take a soft break here in 5 minutes. We don't do that. We come in here, real talk, boots in the ground. So how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Long time listener, first time on.
Well, yeah. Brendan and I were talking about. Have you called in before? I don't think you.
No, I haven't.
No, I like your display behind you. You got all the fish there behind you.
Hey, I did want to make a comment on Kamala, if I may. Her single greatest legislative achievement is her ability to get reelected. After that, there's nothing there. With that. But I did watch the Biden part, reading off the screen. But going back to Lou, I think Lou's a great addition to your show. Certainly, we can get everybody else that you would like on through some connections. And to all the callers out there, please call in. Look forward to some participation on this. But yeah, I've known Lou for a while. I knew him back on the Hill. And then when he came here a year before the primary, did his event at the Union Station, I befriended him once again. and staying in touch with his son-in-laws, Eric and Chris. Here's some statistics for Brenda, too. It's not just the birthday, but his son-in-law, Chris, his farm backs up to Dave McCormick's farm in Bloomsburg. So very close-knit family. And as you know, with Stacy Garrity, she went to Bloomsburg as well. I'm not sure if it was the same time for Lou when he was there, but nice little network to build off of. I believe he'll be talking about Border Patrol. For those that aren't aware, he was recently published in Epoch. He's sort of the godfather against sanctuary cities from his work in Congress back in 2010, I believe. He served on the Homeland Security. There's a border patrol concern under that. And he also served on the transportation, which is an issue. And I won't mention the airport, Brenda, with that. But I think you'll like his personality style for those that weren't able to meet him when he was up here. But he does have a concern on the education side. If you're not familiar on how a lot of the campaigning starts, if you look at Pennsylvania and you go straight up Harrisburg to the northern border and you make a T to northeastern PA and northwestern PA, that's typically how they run a statewide campaign, knowing that Biden, Casey, et cetera, are all from Scranton. And then, of course, you've got to win Erie now. So hopefully that sort of explains why we get the information. It's because a lot of these campaigners have already started in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton area, and then they just shoot a message over. So whoever else would you like to have on the show, just let me know. We'll try to figure it out for you. But thanks again for hosting.
Well, that, and that's what the whole essence of what we do and why we do it the way we do it. We don't have any corporate sponsors. That way we don't have to answer to timelines or, well, that guy's kind of controversial. We really don't want him on the show with our advertising. There is no advertising. It's just boots on the ground, straight talk, nothing recorded other than the videos we play. And we tell you those are recorded, of course. But what you see right now is live. It's live, hashtag live from the dining room. That way the Karens and the haters can say he just doing it from his dining room. And I could be having a tea party, which is absolutely nothing other than here we are putting information out. We got some great videos coming up and talked about the shooting and talked about, the director of the Secret Service, of course, some of the grueling questions, and they were good questions. And it wasn't a DNR thing. I was really impressed. I was waiting for the Republicans to come in and just beat them up. The Democrats, what size jacket do you wear? Is that a Gucci jacket, or what kind of shoes do you wear? Something softball when they tried to kill a political opponent and a former president. So it's just an issue of, some of the videos with Green, of course, she's a little pit bull. One other female congressman, she was asking questions, and she's like, basically, I'll just say, hey, I'll give you my 5 minutes. No, I got a text. Brad, yeah, Lou, he hasn't called. That's probably him right there.
Hey, I did want to remind everybody, Trump was in North Carolina. I sent you, Brian, the clip. Massive attendance and crowd. They're about plus 10. Thank you.
Hey, Lou. Is this Lou?
Brett, how are you?
Oh, Lou, thanks for coming in to Boots on the Ground with Brian Shank here in Erie, Pennsylvania. And just to let you know, you are live. And I got your buddy Brad Paganoff here on video. So I kind of warmed the crowd up who you were. We went over your Wikipedia. So, what I want you to do is I want you to tell us your story. I could read your story all day long, but coming from you, the man, the legend, it means so much. So the floor is yours, sir.
Well, thanks, Brandon, and thanks for having me on. Great to talk to you guys. I got into politics by accident, really. My wife and I had been running our own business, and I didn't like politics here in Hazleton, Pennsylvania. Went to the politicians, asked them if they could try to run government like a business. They told me to go away. I was naive. I got mad, ran for city council, and realized I needed to do more than that, and ran for mayor. And it was during my time as mayor that I ended up having a problem with illegal immigration. And Hazleton is 2,000 miles away from the nearest southern border, not a place you would expect to have that problem. And this was in the early 2000s. And I asked for help. The problem got worse. Our population grew by 50%, but our tax revenue stayed the same. Gangs were moving into the town, and no one would help me. And we ended up having a young man, 29 years old, Derek Kishline, father of 3 children, shot in the head by the head of the Latin Kings. He had been in the country illegally, arrested 6 times, New York, let go. And that was the last straw for me. I created the first law in the country in dealing with illegal immigration. I illegal immigrants and fought it all the way to the Supreme Court. Ended up going to Congress. Very first thing I did was to introduce bills to secure our border and take money away from sanctuary cities, and never got those bills to the floor. And look where today. Look what's happened. 20 years later, I was called a racist, anti-immigrant, bigot. Had my life threatened a couple times, and all the things I said 20 years ago, Brian, they say every day on TV today.
And you know what? There's no one in this room. Trust me, this is a very friendly Republican room, very conservative talk show, and the liberals come in and they don't say anything. You know how many times I've been called a racist? I'm Irish. I don't know how many racist Irish people I've met, only because we push back on this failed border crisis. And of course, when you say that, oh, you hate immigrants. No, actually, that's not true. Google who I am and where I'm come from. You will eat those words. But this is exactly what we want to. I guess the question I really want to ask you is: so I get where you're going. How do you feel about what the border's doing right now? I mean, is it good, bad, A, B, C, F? I mean, lay your cards on the table, sir.
No, they're shipping them all over the country. We know they're everywhere. People who are in the country illegally are now everywhere. We know nothing about their background. We know nothing about their criminal background. We know nothing about their medical background. Now we don't even blink anymore when we hear a story of some innocent American who was killed by someone who's in the country illegally who shouldn't be here. It's happening every day. We're all border states today, and unfortunately, nothing is being done. We could secure the border. We could definitely stop giving benefits and enticing people to come to this country illegally. We have a way, and you know what, Brian? Standing up against illegal immigration is probably the most pro-immigrant thing you can do, because people who came here legally or people who want to come here legally, it's unfair to them. It's unfair to them that they go through the process, which is not easy to do. It takes time, and sometimes people can't even bring their whole families here. And others are just walking across the border as we speak, and our government are giving them benefits as if they're American citizens.
Yeah.
So, we're actually a voice for immigrants who came here for a better life, for a better education for their children, to earn more money. And we're speaking for them because that's who's hurt the most.
So you're saying don't reward bad behavior. I mean, like we do with our children, and that's exactly the point. And this is where all of us and you and the team is pushing back, and we're pushing back to support Donald Trump. People are like, what do you think? Listen, do I always agree with President Trump? Absolutely not. Sometimes Joe Biden does get one or two right. But for the most part, he gets it, and Governor Abbott pushing back and having to take his own government to court to get permission to secure his borders, and of course wins. So what other big projects do you got cooking going on in your neck of the woods, sir?
So I've been fighting back against something that's happening in Pennsylvania right under our nose, and we don't even know it's happening. And Pennsylvania was the first state in the country to give taxpayer money to a for-profit business from the UK that is offering online mental health counseling to our children. And you would say, well, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that is it's all being done without parental knowledge or parental consent. In fact, the name of the company is Kooth, Kooth. They're now in school districts all across Pennsylvania. The Kooth representatives actually encouraged the children not to talk to their parents about it. So parents aren't allowed to see the content of what's on this website and what the counselors are talking to them about. They're talking about their gender. Um, they're talking about any suicide ideology. These conversations are being had with your children without you even knowing that it's happening. And worse than that, you and I've done it. We have done it already. You can create a fake name and actually get onto this website as an adult. So there's no safeguards in place. And right here in our neck of the woods, Wyoming area school, they had an assembly. They brought Kooth in. They brought all the kids down to the auditorium, and they told the students there that if they signed up today in the last period, that they would give them some cookies as a gift. Now, they also told them don't talk to your parents. Now we teach our 4-year-olds not to keep secrets from your parents,
No.
and don't take candy from strangers.
No, I mean I think that's like in the parental handbook 101. Don't talk to strangers. Don't take candy from strangers. And I just cannot believe somebody hasn't sued the crap out of these people for violating that whole sanctity between a parent and. I mean, I raised 2 boys. I get it. I would be screaming mad if they were, and it's basically indoctrinating these kids into their way of life. And we see the problems we have. I mean, I've been saying this since I was a parent. They've been dumbing down kids for the last 25 years.
Right, if there's nothing wrong with what they're doing, then why don't they let the parents see the content and let the parents decide whether or not they want their children to have access to it? Why are they keeping parents out of this? Why should they get $3 million of our money? And some of the names of the counselors who will be talking to your children, one goes by the name of Pigeon. The other one goes by the name of Sparrow. And I don't know about you, but I don't know if I want Pigeon or Sparrow talking to my child about their gender and how they feel without me knowing about it. We have to put parents back in control of our children's education, and they shouldn't be getting taxpayer money. The second state that took Kooth in is California. So uh, imagine that Pennsylvania beat California to this crazy idea that parents have no right to know what is being taught or talked to their children about.
Yeah, Brad just typed into the room that one of our local Mill Creek townships just approved that. Is that correct, Brad?
That's correct. Mill Creek Township School District approved Kooth a few board meetings ago. And like Lou said, there's no discussion. Clearly, they did not even Google Kooth in Pennsylvania without all the articles. And if I'm correct, Lou, that there was even a bill put forward to get rid of them and companies like them. Is that correct?
I don't know. I don't know if he caught sometimes the system doesn't talk to each other. So I mean, Lou, you're still there, right?
Yeah, I am. I wasn't able to hear what he was saying.
Yeah, sorry about that, Brad. Like sometimes there's no crossing streams like in Ghostbusters. So,
Okay.
and basically he was just talking about a local municipality just okayed Kooth and how it's, of course it's very secret squirrel stuff and they're supposed to be the most progressive. But like you said, I'm shocked that Pennsylvania beat California to anything that has anything with this type of behavior because
Yeah, and school boards don't even need to approve this. This is being done through the back door, through the administration, and like I said, most parents and people around Pennsylvania they don't even know what's happening. I've been working with Representative Stephanie Shalaba, we sent a letter to Kuth asking all these questions of the issues that we're bringing up, and we haven't, not surprisingly, haven't heard back from them at all. Stephanie's out in Butler County, state rep out there, and parents need to ask their schools wherever they are if Kuth is there, and they should have to approve it. You know, parents should say it's okay for you to talk to my 14-year-old about their gender, about their sexual relationships, about whether they have suicidal ideology or not, and if Kuth, this is on their own website, if they find that there is a crisis with one of these young adults, they'll notify the school and not the parent. I mean, you couldn't keep parents out any more than what this organization is, and I'm going to do everything I can to keep it out of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and that's what we need. We need warriors because a lot of times this stuff flies right under the radar. They don't make a lot of dust, and that way you can't see them coming in the night. And I'm not picking on Mill Creek, but they have a tendency to be very on the left hand side of everything. Where out here on this side of town, the East County of Erie County, it's a little more red, a little more conservative. Of course, the city of Erie is total Democrat controlled, and so is their school board, and so is their city council. But these are the things that we need to talk about. And again, this will be recorded. It'll be on YouTube, and you can come back and watch the show later. And we have a lot of questions that come up here. If there's questions that come up as in the text, I'll make sure to get them to you because I know you're just on the phone. But these are why we do this, is to put the boots on the ground, to get the voice of the people. We the people, like what was it? Benjamin Franklin said, the citizen journalist. And I'm like, I had another gentleman on. He goes, like a citizen journalist. I said, no, I'm just a guy in Harbor Creek with a big mouth and a little bit of talent to talk to people. And my lovely wife, she makes sure the videos get played, the sound's right, and she talked to your assistant. So I don't go through a show without saying thank you to my lovely wife to making sure everything is going great. But yeah, so what do you do for fun out there? I mean, I know you're a busy guy, but what was a guy that with your resume do for fun?
Well, I'm enjoying my 10 grandchildren right now, and
Wow, 10.
since the governor's race, I'm still staying active. I started a PAC, a statewide PAC called Pioneer PAC, and what I'm doing with that is any money I raise, I'm going out and helping what I believe are good candidates. There are a lot of people, Brian, that would like to get involved, but they just don't know how to. So if we want, we'll go out there, we'll give them some financial help. We'll help them with their campaign if they need it, to try to get good people off the sidelines and get them involved. Listen, if we want good schools, let's not elect knuckleheads to the school board. Let's find good people to become supervisors and council members, and let's start from the ground up and getting good people who have common sense and just want to get things done, protect our families, protect our neighborhoods. Let's get them involved. All too often, good people say, why, I don't want to get involved. I don't like what I see, but we can't give up. We've got to find good people who have the will to stand up for what's right, stand up for us. And this is one issue we're talking about. Parents have a right to know what's going on with their children, and it's we the people. The government belongs to us, and so we're going to go out, and that's what I do for fun. I help good people get elected, county commissioners, and those people who I think have the courage to stand up. I stood up over 20 years ago against illegal immigration when it wasn't politically correct. In fact, nobody in the country was doing it, and I didn't back down. It didn't matter. They told me they would get me politically, and it didn't matter. I was going to do what I thought was right, and I'm trying to find people like that and help them.
Yeah, a question came up via text, and I'll read it off for you. It's from Kim Hunter. Is this state or federal money they use for this?
State money, our tax dollars here in Pennsylvania. They got a $3 million grant to do a pilot program, And we've been working very hard to, talk to your state reps and your state senators and make sure that there is no more money in the budget to continue this program. They shouldn't be using your dollars and my dollars to fund this company from the UK who say, parents, you have no right to know what we're talking to your kids about. That's ludicrous.
Right.
It's ludicrous. With
Right.
the $3 million, think of how many better things we can do with that money.
Well, as an Army veteran, it disgusts me to see homeless veterans. It disgusts me to see hungry veterans. Brad Paganoff typed in here. He goes, "Need to invite Lou here." So Brad's saying you need to come up here. And my lovely wife said, "Let him know we're doing a Trump train and vote red air show coming up." So the Trump train is August 18th.
Okay.
And the air show is coming up. Someone will have to type in the date for me. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but you were always welcome in Erie. I remember seeing
Thank
you
you.
on this big stage with this guy called Donald Trump, and it's like he makes everybody look really short. I mean, I'm 5'10" and I would look short next to the Don, and
Yeah, he's a big figure
and
for sure.
so have you've talked to him, you've shaken his hand. I know you'll give us a good report. So what do you feel when you talk to Donald Trump? Tell us what you feel about the man.
So one of the things, and I was one of the first in the country to endorse him, and I co-chaired his campaign with Tom Marino, Congressman Marino, in 2016. And when Tom and I endorsed him, we could have all met in a phone booth. That's how many supporters he had in Washington. And one of the things I told everyone is that the real Donald Trump. I sat in meetings with him where he was not the one doing all the talking. He was not talking over people. He wasn't insulting anyone. He always wanted to know what your opinion was. And I watched him conduct meetings where he valued what you thought. Not that he would do what you thought, but he wanted to know what your opinion was. He was always open-minded. And there were many times that we would talk on the phone and, he was going to do something and wanted to just know, what do you think? And that I found amazing, that he was truly that business person who didn't make decisions on a whim, and always valued what other people's opinions are. And a lot of people, they don't realize that he's like that. They think that what you see on stage is the real person. I saw him. We met in the White House, and he had moms and dads who lost children to illegal immigrants and crimes. And I watched him, the softer side of him, the caring side that a lot of people they don't see.
Are you still there, Lou?
Yep, I am.
Okay, there you go. And cell phones, you got to say. You were talking about meeting the families, and we kind of broke up a little bit.
Yeah, no. So there's a very caring side of him, that a lot of times the media, they try to gloss over it. And
Of course.
they're like I said, it was something to be able to see him, in action.
Yeah, I got a question. This is from Kim Hunter. Now, this is one of those gotchas. I didn't bring it up. This is Kim. She's like, "Lou, will you run for governor again?"
Who knows what happens?
Yeah.
Who knows what'll happen? I'll never say never. I'm not thinking about it, but I'll never say never, and because you don't know what God has in store, and just I just take it one day at a time and see what's happening.
No, I got you. I knew, those were, I'm not going to push you for it or anything. Like I said, this isn't a gotcha show, but that's from Kim Hunter. Remember the name Kim Hunter. She's the one that called you out on our little podcast on a Wednesday night about running. But hey, and it's a calling. I mean, I ran for county council. I ran a clean race. I won. The second when I went up for reelection, it was dirty. The Democrats are dirty, 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 dirty. They played a lot of dirty tricks, a lot of lies, a lot of money. So I think
Yeah.
that's a very discouraging factor when you were talking about your PAC getting young people, getting people to run for office. It's nasty business. Look what's going on in with our presidency. You know, look at the coup, the bloodless coup that the Democrats literally just performed in front of our eyes, and the Democrats just sit there and clap and applaud it.
Yeah.
That's an insult to democracy. That is a threat to democracy. So the next time I see a Democrat tell me you guys are a threat to democracy, you guys just pulled off a bloodless coup. I don't want to hear about threat to democracy. You guys just washed it right down the driveway, you know. So, but yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, this is why we started the show. We started on a local talk show. It was very expensive airtime. We transitioned over to the internet, where now we can do our 5 channels. You know, with a little investment of hardware, software, and a lot of great people calling in and doing what we do is, you know, and we get a little bigger and a little bit bigger. And, you know, we had you lined up a couple of weeks ago. You had a family emergency. So I hope everything worked out okay on that. We were able to adapt and overcome. And, you know, I got a local person that step in, and no one can fit in your shoes, but we had somebody step in and try to, and we just filled your time spot. So, you know,
Well, thank you.
oh,
Thank
that's
you.
all right.
Well,
You know,
I don't know if you remember, but on my on the gubernatorial race, my golden retriever traveled with me. In fact, we had his picture on the bus instead of mine. he was uh, he was liked by so many people, and unfortunately, we lost him a few weeks ago. So,
gotcha.
um, you know, he's certainly missed.
Hey, Brian, if I may,
Hang on.
Luke, can you give us an update on Northeast PA? I believe Dave McCormick will be in town tomorrow with a bunch of other statewide candidates, but you reside in the backyard of both Biden and Casey. Can you give us a brief update if you're prepared, or?
Hey, Brad,
Um,
can't hear you. I can't take your video into his call because it's a call.
okay.
So I'll just, you know, you basically, I said Casey and Biden live in his backyard. Update on both in the NEPA. Thanks. You know, so that was from a question. Yeah, sorry, Brad. For some reason, the computer doesn't go talk to the phone. The phone talks to the computer, but it's private. I don't know what to tell you, but you know, so Brad, if you got a question, just type it in and I'll just do that. So but basically, you know, I think, you know, Lou, unless you got something else like earth shattering you want to share with the gang, you know, your time is very valuable and we appreciate it. You know, coming into our show here in Pennsylvania of the little western side of Pennsylvania, because we're on the east county of Erie County. So that's why I always say the east, but we're on the west side. But no, we thank you for coming in. It's a real treat to talk to somebody that's been on the big stage and someone that actually has been able to have a conversation with the Don, and with everything that's going on with him. Of course, you know, God was watching over his shoulder and sent an angel down to just gingerly push that bullet just that far enough the way to save his life. So other than that, sir, thank you. We appreciate
Well,
your time.
thank you, Brian. Thank you for what you and your wife are doing. You know, it's podcasts like this that allow people to speak and be heard and share ideas and thoughts. And thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, God bless, and you know, have safe travels wherever you end up in your life, sir. We appreciate your
Thank you,
time.
Brian. Thank you very
Thanks.
much. Take care.
Shanks out. Yeah, sorry about that, Brad. For some reason, the computer doesn't like to talk back to phones. So when you talk, it's dead air. Sorry.
Yeah, no, thanks. He just, it's an interesting paradigm. You've got Northeast Pennsylvania with Casey and Biden's hometown area. Lou resides there. I spoke to one of his son-in-laws earlier today. I think since 2020, they've moved over 20,000 Democratic votes over to Republican. The margin's only 1,700 now.
Wow.
Scott Pressler was up there earlier. He's doing his magic. But we've seen those changes in Erie, too. You're probably better with those numbers than I am, but we're making progress as the Reality Caucus. But once again, thanks for having Lou on. And if you need anybody else on, just let me know.
No, we appreciate you. Of course, we know you're a big supporter. You're the guy that usually sits in the corner and just watches and reads and learns and analyzes the people and what they're saying. We know who you are. We know who you are. And we don't want to take away from your dedication to the airport, making sure that they are on track. Because when I was on council, it's a wild, wild west show out there. I've said this for the last I don't know, like 5 years. The director needs to be fired, and we'll get it cleaned up because it's a county asset and it has to be. But you keep up the good work, man. I appreciate your text, even though I don't always answer them because I'm not even a councilman anymore. And I'm just like, Brian, what do you think of this? I don't know, man. I'm not on council anymore. I want my 53 cents an hour and I'll answer your questions.
If I can give another fellow Republican a plug,
Please do.
Greg Hayes with North Coast Flight School signed an agreement with Beaver County Community College. If you're not aware, they're sort of like the Harvard of pilot training. So Greg will be on the evening news tonight. Look for the clips tomorrow. But we're trying to bring transportation back. If you weren't aware, at the National Governors Association, I chaired Commerce and Transportation for Governor Hogan, as well as Homeland Security, too. So we've got some opportunities to build that out with additional funding. So look for Greg's name, North Coast, and pilot training. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, no problem. I saw that. You guys put that letter up there. I got to tell you, I was really bummed when Greg left Erie, but we know why. And, I'm not going to get into a poop contest here on the show, but it was an issue that was really sad because I love to stop out there and go take a walk out there and hug Black Hawk helicopters. Not everybody gets to do that. Or I was there, I don't know, help them with signs or something, and they had a Russian MiG touchdown. And he got to go out there and talk to the pilot. So I don't get to do that cool stuff anymore. Thanks, Brad. Thanks for jumping in.
Thank you, everyone.
You're always welcome to our show. Thanks.
Much obliged. Bye.
Look at that. See those nice transitions? Brad comes in, the phone calls go out. The wife is totally on it. Brenda, you want to play a video? Give me a minute. I'm just talking. Please.
You spoke to Cheadle. How'd that go?
She came to see me, actually. And, it went very nicely. She was very nice, I thought. But, somebody should have made sure there was nobody on that roof. That roof was a dead aim right onto the stage. And they said they didn't have the manpower for it, which is crazy. 130 yards is like sinking a 1-foot putt. It's considered really close.
Absolutely right.
It sounds like a lot, but it's really, from that standpoint, it's it's very close. And I was surprised by that, actually. They said it's a bad shot would usually hit the target. And it's got to be, somebody's got to be there. And it's essentially a flat roof. I noticed that she said, well, this is a sloped roof. Well, you think of like a barn where you have this thing had just a little upswing in it, a few degrees. This was it essentially was a flat roof. So I don't know, somebody gave her false information when she talked about the slope of the roof. I thought she was very nice, but you have to answer why couldn't I have stayed off the stage for 5 minutes while they do their work? Why couldn't, how does a situation happen where a roof that's plainly in sight from the location where I was speaking, why would somebody not have seen that?
You were briefed, your office was briefed by Cheadle. Are you satisfied with this situation?
No.
And do you feel safe with Cheadle running the Secret Service?
Look, I think clearly she needs to be more forthcoming. She needs to actually sit before people, answer all their questions, and let people know what happened. When you try to hide information and hide from question asking, that's, I think, what leads people to believe that there's something to be hidden from.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and they lied to us. They lied to us, and they're finally admitting the truth. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. Guys, the Secret Service lied. They said they did not deny Trump requests for additional security. And what we find out today, they admit they did. They did deny him requests for additional security. How long is this going on? 2 years.
Yeah, I got to tell you, that's some crazy stuff that went on there. And Kim, you called. We were in the middle of the video. If you want to call back, that's fine. But it was just an issue of so many things went wrong. And I got to tell you, we'll play some videos from the actual hearings. And Marjorie Green, some people love her, some people hate her, but I'm telling you, she tore into that director, well, former director, because, just like all Democrats, they quit. They take a little bit of heat, and I quit. Biden quit because Biden wasn't going to fire her. No way, because that was Jill's private person years ago, so they weren't going to fire her. And then you fire them. That there's some implied liability. That I hired the wrong person. Oh, diversity, equity, inclusion hire. Oh yeah, that's working out really, really well. Really, 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 really well. So it's just an issue of craziness. Yeah. So Kim, you want to call back in? I'll give you another. I'll stall just another minute for you to go. Um, there you are, Kim. You're live.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Stan. I got to talk about this Kamala thing.
Lay it
I'll
on
tell
me.
you what.
Lay it on me.
I'll tell you what. I am so mad about that for the voters because they're pulling another Copenhagen. She is not a people's candidate. They gave her money. They gave donor money that they gave to vote Biden in to her. Leads me to think, what did they do with Mary Rennie's money? I'm going to have to look that up.
Look it up.
Because Copenhagen did not have to go through a primary like the rest of us did. Okay. We were all set to run against Mary Rennie. And all of a sudden she decides to quit because she's a quitter, decided
Democrat.
she couldn't be the boss anymore, couldn't talk over you. And she just bails out. And next thing I know, I got this guy and I asked him, are you going to run? He goes, yeah. He goes, Kim, you might as well give up now. Why? Well, because I have a D next to my name, so I'm going to win. And now we have a socialist in office who has not done one single thing for his district that he was elected to.
None of them do. Neither
Right.
does Pretzel. They just want the control.
And how long did he have to campaign for? 2 months after you and I and Wade were out there for a year.
Oh, I know. I totally get it. But hey, the Democrats have this new strategy. Hey, that it gets too hot in the kitchen. Let's just quit. Mary Rennie, I quit. The director of the Secret Service, she takes a little bit of heat. I quit. Joe Biden, he's losing his ass in the polls. He's getting his ass kicked. The Democrats are getting their asses kicked. They quit. So if that's who we want leading our country, when we take a little bit of heat, we quit. But no,
Right.
I get it.
And now Tallarico's got to get new shirts, and I can't run into him anymore and make fun of his t-shirts.
What was it? I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Tallarico has to go out and get all new t-shirts. I cannot make fun of him in public anymore for his Biden-Harris t-shirts.
Well, yeah. Well, just imagine. Good thing. Miss Harris got a lot of donations because they have to replace a lot of signs. Well, that's right. We don't
But
even know. We don't even know who the vice president is yet.
And now I realize that, the elites and George Clooney and all those people gave her money.
Yeah.
But really, she doesn't have $100 million. Joe Biden had $100 million.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna bend the rules. Trust me, they always do. They will bend the rules. They will lie, cheat, and steal. Have their lawyers figure it out, that little loophole where they can do it, and that's fine. But we just can't seem to get this through the American people on the party of tolerance. Real quick story. A little old man in his mid-80s is out putting his Trump sign up there. He left, came back. Somebody drove up on a four-wheeler, pulled it out, drove away. The little old man puts the sign back up. The guy on the four-wheeler, the kid on the four-wheeler, sees him do it. You know what he does? He runs him over.
No.
By the grace of God, he didn't get killed. So the cops do the investigation, and they figured out who the kid was because it's a small town. They go to his house. The kid shoots himself, kills himself over a Trump sign.
Oh
People,
my God.
you people need to go get help. There's something wrong with you that you're willing to die over a Trump sign.
And they
Ridiculous.
call us the radicals.
They call us the insurrectionists, and they call us the Nazis, and they call us deplorables. What? Look, but okay, I'm sorry. I digress. It's your call.
It's okay. It's okay. I love it when you express yourself. You know this. But this is what I tell people. You know, I was on Rumble and they were talking about there was some violence on there. And this is what I'm going to tell people. We are the grand party. Abraham Lincoln named us. We are the grand Republicans. We are the grand party. We get even by thinking with our brains and fighting back with our brains. And even though Trump is ahead in the polls, don't let that fool you guys. We have to knuckle down and start fighting back even harder. Okay? Rustler is out there fighting hard. He's already turned Bucks County red. We can do that here in Erie, guys. Okay? Get out there, get 2 mail-in ballots, just 2. That's all it's going to take. And remember, it's not just Trump that's at stake. We have to support Stacey Garrity, okay? We have no idea who this Aaron person is, okay? Thank God she beat Bizarro the Clown, but we have to support her. She is a beautiful woman inside and out. She was known as a Desert Storm Angel, okay? That says a lot about her. We have to go out there and support Dave McCormick. We have to keep supporting Mike Kelly and Senator Laughlin. Do I agree with them on 100% of their actions? Absolutely not. But you just heard what Lou said about this program, okay? Don't think me and Brian aren't going to talk to Dan about giving state money to the schools about this program. We are. And once Dan's aware of it, I'm sure he's going to pull back funding for it, okay? These people are within reach. You can talk to them if you have a concern. They are always open to hearing what their constituents have to say. Okay. I've talked to Mike Kelly several times. He sees me coming. I can see the eye roll. He doesn't do it, but I can see the eye roll. But he answers my questions. Dan always answers my questions. And we are not there in the hot seat like they are. Jake Banta, he's always in the hot seat. Remember, they're Republicans. They're always under scrutiny. Go to them, talk to them, and get out there and support them. Because remember, we have a 2025 election right around the corner. You don't like what's going on in the city? Come to me, come to Brian, come to Restore America. Let us know. You want to run. Listen, we have how many offices that no Republican ever runs in? We're giving them a free pass to take over and run our city, run our county, run our state. Even if you don't think you have a chance, guess what? You probably do have a very good chance of running and winning. And let's face it, guys, our school board is shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
They got a Looney
And we
Tune.
we have 4 seats coming up, guys, for city council. We have 4 seats coming up for school board. If you're interested in running, come to us. Like Lou said, there's all kinds of money out there for people, good conservative people who want to run for these seats. We will work hard to get you elected, but come to us and tell us. And the first thing starts with these mail-ins. And it's not just for the Trump campaign, which is, let's face it, that's what's going to save us right now. But it's for the following campaigns. It's for my campaign. It's for Brian's campaign. Okay. It's for Wade Root's camp. We have to band together. Think smart. Work hard. Talk, talk, talk. Work with a pen, work with a mail-in ballot, and volunteer to work at the polls. Just send me or Brian a text message. We will get you signed up. We will get you what you want. And that's about all I have to say, Brian. Thank you very much for what you and Brenda do, and I'll see the 2 of you tomorrow.
All righty. Thanks for calling in, Kim. We appreciate it. And then
And I
again,
appreciate you and Brenda. And guys, please, I know a couple of you came to me for t-shirts. Hey, call Brenda. Support local. Put the money in our local businesses, our small businesses, okay? And thank you again. Bye, guys.
bye-bye. But yeah, I mean, and Kim's got some valid points, and I'm not going to regurgitate what she said. She said what she said. You can go on YouTube And sorry about X. We had a little bit of problem with we have to buy the subscription. It's just an issue of doing this, doing that, blah blah blah. So you can still go on right now. It's we're winning on it's. I can look at the stats tonight. Boots in the ground on YouTube is 7, and the rest are all on Facebook. So we appreciate that. And again, again, I'm not. I hate repeating myself. We're gonna say it every Wednesday. I'm sorry. I apologize. Application for mail-in ballot. I flipped the camera around so you can actually read it right. It will get you registered. It'll change your party, change your address. Section 12 will get you a request for mail-in ballot. That's the official state-looking one. This is the one that actual uh, that the Donald Trump campaign PAC sent out. So if you see them in the mail, they're legitimate. You'll be getting them from the Democrats. Be careful. I wouldn't touch it. I would grab a toxic stick with rubber gloves on because God only knows who touched that thing. And with their lying, cheating stuff, they just get caught every time. This was one that came out earlier in the primary. So, and I save these and I give you an example um, about how different they look at this time of year. They're all just application. People are like Brian. I got I got 5 mail-in ballots in the mail. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. Send me a picture. I said, now look at the top right hand corner. What does it say? Application. Oh, so yeah, so there's just so much going on. It's crazy times. These are historic times. I Brendan and I will sit on the couch, we'll drive ourselves crazy trying to what would have happened to Donald Trump if that shot would have connected properly. I don't know. And then I predicted this 6 months ago. They're going to pull Joe Biden out of this. They're not going to let him run because they know he's going to get his ass kicked, and his ass was getting kicked. Him and Kamala Harris. Let's not forget, Harris isn't just a new person they've picked out. She was the vice president. She was the czar to the border. What did she do? Nothing, because she was told not to do anything. Because her whole life she hasn't done anything. All right, there was a joke in there, but I was gonna be nice because then all the Karens will be like, "You're being mean to the girl on the on the show." Well, she deserves it. Go online, Google her shit up, But to let an innocent black kid sit on death row, gonna be executed, and she did nothing to stop it until she was told to by the governor. Disgusting, and she gets promoted. Up she goes because she's a black female. No, she's not. She's not black. Stop it. Stop playing that card. Stop race baiting people. And the camera keeps focusing. Jamaica and India. I don't know where the black comes in that equation, but whenever you're ready, this is some hearings from Miss Green, the former director of the Secret Service, and these questions, she can be a little sometimes. She earned every one of them because she got a man killed, 2 people seriously wounded, and almost got a political candidate killed. So whenever you're ready, Brenda.
You've been sitting here for over 3 hours, and I have you know the entire country is demanding you resign and demanding that you be fired if you do not resign. Things are not going well for you. You need to answer the questions. Was there a protective intelligence team, and what technical resources were utilized for that event, specifically drone or helicopter assets?
There were a number of technical assets that were deployed for that event, and there was a protective intelligence team that was assigned to that event.
Why was Crooks able to fly a drone over the entire area the day of the rally and the day of his assassination attempt?
To my knowledge, he did not fly the drone over the entire area.
How did he fly a drone over the area, period? Any part of the area?
Again, I would have to go back and check the timeline of when that took place and when the event...
Why didn't you bring the timeline with you today to answer our questions?
I don't have all of the answers on the timelines based on the criminal investigation.
Were you not prepared today to answer our questions?
I am prepared to answer the questions based on the information and wanted to be able to provide.
Do you have a timeline do you have a timeline at all from any of the day?
I have a timeline that does not have specifics.
That's shocking. That is absolutely unacceptable. That means you are a failure at your job. Let's talk about things that are prohibited in Trump rallies. And I've been to a lot of Trump rallies. Backpacks and bags, bicycles, firearms, any type of weapon, or any other item determined to be a potential safety hazard, like a rangefinder would be one. At 5:10, Crooks is first observed by one of the snipers, AGR Sniper 1, at the building. 5:10, President Trump was shot in the face at 6:11 p.m. 5:28, AGR Sniper 1 takes a picture of a bicycle and 2 bags. Those belong to Crooks. 5:32, AGR Sniper 1 spots Crooks looking at his phone and using a rangefinder. 5:55, Butler ESU Command confirms receipt of photos and states they have been relayed on. 6:05 p.m., AGR Sniper 1 later communicates that Crooks is seen moving northeast in direction of Sheets and that Crooks has a backpack. 2 minutes before the shooting, while President Trump has been allowed to take the stage, people see Crooks laying on his stomach in a sniper position on the roof, and they're yelling he has a gun, and they are trying to alert law enforcement and Secret Service. Why was Crooks not shot by the snipers? Why was he allowed to be there?
As soon as the individual was identified as a threat, they were...
No. What do you consider to be a threat? A man with a gun laying in a sniper position, a man that had a backpack, a man that had a bicycle, a man that had a rangefinder. At what point is he determined a threat?
An individual with a backpack is not a threat. An individual with a rangefinder is not a threat.
What about a man laying on a building that has direct line of sight of President Trump with a gun that people are screaming and pointing out? Is that a threat, Ms. Cheadle?
Once that individual was identified, they were neutralized.
No, they were neutralized. Crooks was neutralized after he shot President Trump in the face, Ms. Cheadle. Is he only a threat once he fires the weapon?
As soon as the counter sniper identified that individual, they were able to neutralize them.
How were people in the crowd? Okay, then let's just take it this way. People under your command did not consider him to be a threat, yet people in the crowd knew he had a gun and considered him to be a threat. That means that you are a complete failure as the director of the Secret Service, that people under your command don't perceive a man laying on a roof with direct line to the president with a gun. They don't perceive that to be a threat, yet the people in the crowd do. How is that possible?
That's the last question, but please answer the question, Ms. Director.
I'm not certain at this time how the information from the people in the crowd was relayed to any law enforcement personnel.
No, you knew, that everyone knew. The people there knew that there was a danger. They knew there was a threat to President Trump, and it was allowed to happen. Was there a stand-down order, Ms. Cheadle? Was there a conspiracy to kill President Trump?
Absolutely not.
Then how did this happen? And why are you still sitting here not turning in your letter of resignation?
Last question, but please answer, and then I'll recognize Ms. Presley. Please answer that question.
That is what we are investigating to determine.
We're waiting for your letter. We are waiting for your letter of resignation, and you really need to consider doing that before you leave today.
Yeah, I know that was a little long, but I just wanted to show that our elected officials are digging, and they're digging hard. They're not just like whatever, you know.
Answers.
But
Most of my questions are going to demand a yes or no answer. Do you understand?
I do.
Okay, my first question. Both sides of the aisle today have asked for your resignation. Would you like to use my 5 minutes to draft your resignation letter, yes or no?
Unbelievable.
No, thank you.
Was this a colossal failure?
It was a failure.
Yes or no? Was it a colossal failure is the question, yes or no?
I have admitted
Blah,
this.
blah, blah.
This is a yes or no series of questions. Was this a colossal failure, yes or no?
Yes.
Shock.
Was this tragedy preventable, yes or no?
Yes.
Has the Secret Service been transparent with this committee?
Yes.
Would you say the fact that we had to issue a subpoena to get you to show up today as being transparent, yes or no?
I have always been
Yes
eager to
or no?
come
You didn't
and
want to
talk
answer
to
the question.
committee.
We had to issue a subpoena to get you to show up today. That is not transparent, by the way. You stated earlier, Secret Service is not political. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Would you say leaking your opening statement to Punchbowl News, Politico's Playbook, and Washington Post several hours before you sent it to this committee as being political, yes or no?
I have no idea how my statement got out.
Blah, blah, blah.
That's bullshit. So, Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask unanimous consent to enter into the record articles by Punchbowl News, Political Playbook, Washington Post, all done at 5:24 a.m., 6:12 a.m., 6:34 a.m., a solid 3 to 4 hours before this committee got your statement.
Without objection to ordered.
Okay. Is the Secret Service fully cooperating with our committee?
Yes.
Okay, you say you're fully cooperating with this committee. On July 15th, this committee sent you a list of demands of information that we wanted. Has the Secret Service provided this committee a complete list of all law enforcement personnel that were there that day? Have you done that? Have you provided a list to the Oversight Committee? Yes or
I
no?
will have to get back to you on that.
That is a no. Have you provided all audio and video recordings in your possession to this committee, as we asked on July 15th, yes or no?
I would have to get back to you.
That is a no. You're full of shit today. You're just being completely dishonest. Mr.
Chairman,
Mr.
Chairman, I want to.
Mr. I'm
Come
gonna
on.
We have to
continue.
maintain decorum in this committee,
Any,
no matter
have
how
you provided
upset we
any
get.
and all memos to this committee that we've asked you on July 15th? Have you provided all memorandums within the Secret Service?
I would have to get back to you on
That is a no. You are being dishonest or lying. Like you're being dishonest here with this committee. These are important questions that the American people want answers to, and you're just dodging and talking around it in generalities. And we had to subpoena you to be here, and you won't even answer the questions. We have asked you repeatedly to answer our questions. This isn't hard. These are not hard questions. Have you provided us all communications from the Secret Service related to that day and that rally? Have you provided this committee? We've asked for this information on July 15th. Have you provided any of this information that this committee has asked of the Secret Service? Any of it?
I'll have to get back to you.
Have you even read this letter that we sent you? Did you even read this?
Yes.
Okay. And you have said you don't know, you have no idea. Well, the answer is no. We haven't gotten a single document or piece of information or data from you or your agency in related to the rally that we have asked you for. So, was this attempted assassination of Donald Trump a failure of training or execution or both?
I think that those are answers that we need to
Training,
examine.
execution, or both? Which one?
I think those are answers.
All right.
we
How
need to
many
determine.
how many Secret Service personnel have lost their jobs due to this colossal failure?
At this time, none.
How many Secret Service personnel have been required to take a refresher course on how not to let people shoot Donald Trump?
Our personnel are currently operational. We are examining the facts of this investigation, and we will make the changes necessary.
What time did law enforcement become aware that there was an individual on the roof with a clear line of sight to President Trump?
I am still verifying timelines.
Of course, 9 days in, you have no answers. How many minutes went by between the time law enforcement saw and took photos of crooks and the shooting? How many minutes?
I am still verifying timelines.
57
Wow.
minutes. Thank you, Mr.
Yeah, I know that one
Chairman,
was a little
and I
long
yield
too,
back.
but I gotta tell you, there were just a lot of details. And I wanted to show just how good of a job they did to tear into this thing. Because you know what? I know we talked about this before. If you don't learn from history, you're bound to repeat it. The last time we had a presidential assassination attempt was 1981. So we've got, knock on wood, thank whoever you believe in, that we've had a good run. I know there's probably things that have happened that we'll never know about, foiled attempts, and that's fine. But that's why we pay these men and women. That's why we pay these trained professionals to do their job. They are supposed to be the best of the best. And we saw on that grassy field, just down the road here, that was not the best of the best. And let the conspiracy people roll. You have at it, because I tell you what, it stinks. It looks like cow pie. It smells like cow pie. It's probably cow pie. Brenda's flashing some of her new shirts up here, her designs on the top right hand corner. If you need some new t-shirts, updated ones. Uh, we have a ton of Biden ones, but they're almost no fun anymore. But we're getting new. Some of the ones we got in about Miss Harris, there's just nothing we can do with it because they're just like really out there. I mean, really out there that, but like I said, she's flashing through some of her designs up there. And really, I think, we're going to bring this thing in for a landing. Give Brenda a minute to catch up and get the outro video. We had a great conversation with Lou. We had Dave, we had Brad, and this is what I like to see. Interaction on the people, we the people, citizen journalists. You can be one. You have social media, so technically you are doing that. It's just you have to fall in the lines of, Mr. Zuckerberg, because I got like a double secret probation smack the other day, and I don't even know what, oh yeah, Vance video. That's fine. Say whatever you want. You're the producer. You're one, the keeper of the vids.
Now, look, I'm going to go really off script here, and all my communication staffers back there are going to get a little nervous. I was hanging out with my kids yesterday. We're actually swimming at the swimming pool, and somebody brought over their phone and showed me the news that Joe Biden had announced he was dropping out of this race. And look, I don't like Joe Biden, and I don't like his policies. And I'm not a Democrat primary voter. I never have been, and I never will be, unless something goes really wrong, ladies and gentlemen. But look, what is going on in this country is absolutely disgraceful. Let me get a little philosophical here. I imagine most of you did not vote for Joe Biden, and if you did, welcome aboard. We're glad to have you. But if you want to run for president, you've got to make your case to voters. You make your case to voters. That's what President Trump did, even though he had already been the president. And even though he was by far the most popular person in the Republican Party, he ran for the Republican presidential nomination. He faced some good competition, and he made his case to voters. The idea of selecting the Democrat Party's nominee because George Soros and Barack Obama and a couple of elite Democrats got in a smoke-filled room and decided to throw Joe Biden overboard. That is not how it works. That is a threat to democracy, not the Republican Party, which is fighting for democracy every single day. This is not okay, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot, for 3.5 years, take a guy who clearly didn't have the mental capacity to do the job. Kamala Harris lied about it. My Senate Democratic colleagues lied about it. The media lied about it. Every single person who saw Joe Biden knew that he wasn't capable of doing the job. And for 3 years, they said nothing until he became political dead weight. That is not a way to run a country. That is not a way to run a political party. That is an insult to voters. And so, and I really believe, even though I think the leadership of that party is corrupt, I really believe that most Americans are fundamentally good, whether they're Democrat, Republican, or independent. My life has taught me to put my faith in people because they put their faith in me and gave me a lot of opportunities. So my message
to Democrats who are disgusted by this process, disgusted by how anti-democratic it is. You are welcome in the Republican Party, where we think we should persuade voters and not lie to voters. Come on in. The water's warm.
Exactly. A threat to democracy. Still the core of who we are. Yes, we're a republic. I get it. Every time I say it on social media, we're a republic. I get it. But we also utilize the democracy, the voting of our elected officials. Brenda, I still have Megan Kelly. Go ahead. Yeah, throw it up there. Forgot about that one.
Kamala Harris is now on track to become the next Democratic nominee for president, and they did it just like this. It's so fun when you have a magic wand and your name is Nancy Pelosi. The voters are so annoying. It's like amazing to me that we've all just moved on from the fact that really they've just seized the Democratic nomination. They've given it to Kamala Harris. Not a single voter has voted for this woman to be the presidential candidate on the Democratic ticket. And they're all like, okay, I guess we're not allowed to challenge the black lady. That's how it works. Like, that's a no in the Democratic Party, so we have to keep our mouths shut. Even though if you look at the polls, this is not the best person to take on Trump. I mean, if you're a Trump fan, you're thrilled, I guess. It's like, short of Biden, sure, they'll take Kamala. But if you're an actual Democrat who wants to win, is this the horse you want to bet on? But they're all just going along with it because they need unity, because the Republican Party's unified. This is some sort of bullshit. It's your problem. I'm not voting Democrat. So you work it out over on your side. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah,
fired immediately and go.
I love this guy. This guy, hang on, let me pause this. Let me set this one up. This guy is, I'm not even sure who he is. I was whipping through videos and I'm like, this guy is going to get the award for the best presentation.
He should be fired immediately and go back to Garden Doritos. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Garden Doritos.
So you said, do you remember in an ABC interview you did that you didn't have people on the roof of the AGR building because you were worried about safety because of the slope?
I recall that statement.
Okay. Does the Secret Service have written policy you can share with us about slope roofs?
No.
Okay. So why'd you act like there was one? Because is it your practice to comment on enormous events of enormous national implications when you're ignorant of the facts? That's rhetorical. So here's this thing with the slopes. You go all up to like 1812. You can go to a 112, which is about as flat as you can get without it being completely flat. And you're saying that there was a danger, safety concern there. But the problem is, Director, you put your counter snipers on a 312 roof, which is steeper than the 112. And by the way, the 112 is ADA compliant. You can build a ramp for a wheelchair on a 112
This guy
roof.
gets going.
So these are nothing but pathetic excuses, and they make no sense, and they're a bunch of cow dung. All the law enforcement I've spoken with over the last 9 days are amazed that the AGR rooftop was not secure. And you want to know why? Because it's dangerous. I have never had any long gun training in my life. I own an AR-15, and last time I shot it one time my whole life. It was 6 years ago. That is until Saturday, where we recreated the events in Savoy, Texas. We recreated what happened to Butler. I was lying prone on a sloped roof at 130 yards at 6:30 at night. And I knew that he had a scope. I didn't know what kind, red dot or magnified. So I shot 8 rounds from both. You know what the result was? 15 out of 16 kill shots. And the one I missed would have hit the president's ear. That's a 94% success rate. And that shooter was a better shot than me. It is a miracle President Trump wasn't killed. Corey Comparator's life is over because that damn shooter made it on the roof. And it wasn't the roof that was dangerous. It was a nut job on top of the roof. You know what else is dangerous? I believe your horrifying ineptitude and your lack of skilled leadership is a disgrace. Your obfuscating today is shameful. And you should be fired immediately and go back to Garden Doritos. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Guarding Doritos. Tell me this guy doesn't get the award for holy crap. He really said that. But no, he laid his case out. I have an AR-15. I'm not a very good shot. We got on a roof. We tried different scopes, and I was able to do some decent shooting with no training. That's how this kid got away with it. Now, why did he get away with it is my question. Why did he get away with it? Why was he there? Why did they drop the ball? I mean, we might be able to get the answers someday, somehow. Under this Biden Harris administration, you're not going to get a clean cut story because guess what? Guess what? Another failure on the Biden Harris administration. Another one, a big one. The one that they couldn't hide, they couldn't cover up. The one that everybody there had a cell phone and had video, a better video than the news people did, of the guy laying on the roof prone with an AR-15. And of course, you got Joe Q citizens. I'll pick on Jake Banta. Jake Banta, Navy SEAL, sitting in the front row. He didn't have a weapon. Wasn't allowed to have a weapon. If somebody in that crowd was allowed to have a weapon, he would be the guy I want him to allow to have a weapon because I think he could have handled himself. Now, a pistol at 130 yards, that's a pretty darn good shot. But I'm telling you, the point is they let this thing happen. And Dean Pepicella was on the Joe Natale show. They were talking about conspiracies. I'm thinking these conspiracies. There's just so many factors that point you in the right direction. But of course, if you're a liberal Democrat, you're going to say, no, it's not. It was just a lone guy. He was a registered Republican. That's the first thing that comes out of their commie, socialistic, crappy mouths. He was a registered. Listen, man, I got a stack of these right here. Watch. I got a stack of them. You want to become a Democrat? Knock yourself out. Doesn't really matter because I know you're going to vote Republican anyway. You can change it. You can go online and change your party affiliation. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is this happened. And they totally dropped the ball on this. Got a good man killed, got several good people injured. Well, right. Jeff, we've never received the truth about the Kennedy assassination. Well, I get that. But think about the technology difference. They had one film, Magruder film, one 8mm crappy film. Out in that field the other day, how many cell phones were out there? How many people recorded it? How many people took photographs of that person? I'm not going to say kid because he's not a kid. He's an adult, and I love how they show his pimply face braced high school picture to not make him look like the piece of human crap that he is that took a man's life and almost got the president, almost got him. And of course, you've got your party of tolerance people out there. Oh, that just sucks. He missed. We need to get a better shooter next time. And people are on social media. I can't use any names because I'll piss off a neighbor about we need to be nicer to each other. You're right. You're absolutely right. Stop saying too bad that Trump didn't die that day. What a bunch of crappy human beings that would wish that much ill on another human because you don't like something he did in his life. Like the guy that died because of a Trump sign. What's the point? A piece of cardboard with some ink on it. He chose to take his life because he was going to get busted for running a guy over. Why would you run him over? You over a Trump sign. I don't get it. But yeah. So more, Jeff, you're absolutely right. The Kennedy thing, it was done. It was over with. I'm just saying, we'll never know the end of it. But at least, did you notice the shooter, the Kennedy thing, was a Marine. He had some training. He could take a crappy rifle with open sights and do some damage with the little training. Just thank you, Jesus, that President Trump died. Brendan, I don't think we have any more videos. I think that was pretty much it. This takes us to the 9:45, which is almost 2 hours. I always say I'm going to do an hour, and we just get going and get going. We got great people. We got great callers. We got great comments. So I want to say thank you Brendan, if you want to roll the last video, that'd be great. Please support our independent voices.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. Sing it! God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining seas, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming out. We appreciate you sharing your Wednesday evenings like always. Let's try to get along. Let's get through this. Let's get registered to vote. Let's become Americans again, because it's not worth dying over a yard sign. Good night, everybody. And like we always say, Shank out.